Hello, my name is Jaima, and welcome to my YouTube channel. For today's topic of the video, I wanted to tell you guys where I have been for the past 2 years. What have I been doing? What's been going on with my relationship with Jesus? And all of that jazz. So, this is going to be like a long story time. So, sit back, relax, and yeah, I'll get to talking to you. Okay, so 2 years ago, when I made my first video about having schizophrenia, I had like just got out the psych ward. So like that was like, well, not just got out. I was like 2 months fresh out the psych ward, and so I was talking about how I got diagnosed with schizophrenia, my relationship with Jesus, and everything with that. Um, in that video, I mentioned that um, uh, okay, I'm a little scared. Like I said in my last, if you saw my last video, you know that I'm a little scared to tell y'all what's been going on with me. But um, um, okay, so I just got out of the psych ward that in that video, I was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and I've been taking antipsychotics for 2 years now. So it's been a doozy. So I've been taking antipsychotics, and my relationship with Jesus was on the rocks. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. In that in that video. Excuse me. I keep burping. I'm so sorry. That's so gross. I just ate, and I do that a lot. I have a podcast. If you guys, there's videos of my podcast on the channel if you want to figure out what my podcast is. But I have a podcast, and I do that on my podcast all the time, which I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But that's just the way my body works for whatever reason. I don't know why I do that so much. But okay. Um yeah, so what have I been doing for the past 2 years? So, as y'all know from that video of when I got diagnosed with schizophrenia, Jesus and I were in a relationship, a romantic relationship. We were married. And over the course of that time period of like me getting diagnosed with schizophrenia, everyone was telling me that I was crazy. And I told people that I was married to Jesus, and I told my family, and I told other people at the psych ward. And everybody was saying that I was crazy. So I was like, what's going on? Like, what is that? What's up with that? And everybody was calling me crazy, and it really like affected me. Like, it still affects me to this day. Honestly, it still affects me. Um and They were calling me crazy and saying that I was delusional, and they were like, you have a delusional disorder. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I legit couldn't even, like, I was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? And they're like, you're delusional, you have religious delusions, you're delusional, and you need to take this medication. You have schizophrenia, you need to take this medication. And I kept telling them, and I was like, I'm not delusional. Because when I was in the psych ward, I fell into the spirit. And like and that's the thing. To this day, I think it was a mixture of things that happened, because that's what I've been talking to one of my therapists after it happened. And like, I think it was two things happening at the same time. I think I did lose my mind, but I also fell into the spirit at the same time because I was able to prophesy in a way that I've never prophesied before. And I was prophesying over the people, and people were telling me that I was accurate. Like they were saying that I was real and that I was accurate. And so, like, I was hearing things, and I was prophesying to people, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Do you just not believe in God?" Like, so I wasn't even like open to the fact of them saying that I was delusional. So I was just like, okay, like, you're just saying this because you're a doctor. But it took some time, and eventually I was like, well, maybe I am crazy. And like I came home, and like everything started to like crumble, and like I was asking God for like confirmation. And that's the thing, I kept asking God for confirmation. And I asked him specifically, this is specifically what I asked him. I was like, Jesus, can you take me to heaven and talk to me and tell me exactly what I need to know? Tell me the truth. So I was like, either that or just come into one of my dreams and tell me the truth. Like, what's going on with me? Like, what's happening? Are we in a relationship? Do you like me? Like, what's going on? Am I delusional? Like, what's going on? And he didn't send me that sign that I wanted. And so I was just like, I was really heartbroken because I was just sitting there, and I was like, and that's the thing, like, because this thing was like, it stressed me out. Like, when I tell you that this not knowing the truth about this stressed me out, like, it stressed me out to the highest of heavens. And like, I was just like, I was just, I didn't know what to do. Like, I had so much anxiety, and I was just like, I was stressed. Like, I didn't know what to do. And so I was just like, okay, so like I started to believe in him less and less and less. Like, it was like as the days went on, I was like, I don't believe in this, less and less and less. And eventually I broke up with Jesus, even though we were technically already broken up for like a while, but we were like together and not together at the same time. And it's like, that's kind of feeling where it's like you're not together, but you are together. So after all of that, and after he didn't talk to me, um, he didn't give me the sign that I wanted. Um, uh, I just, I just broke up with him, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna find other people. I was like, you broke my heart. I'm gonna find other people to be with. So I was on dating apps. I was on Tinder. I was on Bumble. I was on this asexual dating app. And honestly, I can't remember all the apps that I was on. But I was trying to find, people. And like, I just wanted to talk to people. Like, and that's the thing. I did this for a year where I was just talking to people. I had hoes. I had so many hoes. So I was just talking to men. I was talking to a whole bunch of men, and I knew I didn't want to talk to women. I'm pan. I was like, I know I'm grieving a relationship right now because I was like, I'm just playing with these men. Like I was like, I'm just playing with them. Like, and I knew men don't be serious, so I was like, I'm gonna just talk to men. I'm not gonna talk to women because I know women are serious, and I'm not gonna break a woman's heart. I couldn't do that. So I was like, I'm just gonna talk to men, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna talk to these dudes to take my mind off of Jesus because I'm like, he broke my heart, and I was sad, and I was depressed, and I was running from my feelings, running from God, running, running. So I would just like, I would just like, um, oh my gosh, I think my cat is doing something in his room. I think he's throwing up in his room. That's so disgusting. Ooh, I need to check on him. I'll check on him later. He's in his room right now, so he's contained. But he kind of does that. He's sick. My cat is sick. Pray for my cat, y'all. Um, but he kind of throws up every now and again because he has pancreatitis. So it's just kind of something that he does. I took him to the vet and they switched his food and they didn't give him any medication, which pissed me off. I don't even want to talk about that, to be honest. Like, just pray for my cat. I've been praying for my cat. So, but anyways, like I was talking to these men and I was just trying to take my mind off of Jesus. Like I would just like talk to multiple men. Like I had a roster of men that I would talk to. And as soon as one of them fell off, like I literally didn't want to think. I didn't want to think my own thoughts because I was so heartbroken. And I knew that if I took a moment to think about how I felt, I would just be sad and depressed. So I was just running, 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 running from my feelings, and just talking to different men. And like, I don't want to say, like, I mean, the men kind of did do a number on me, but it was just like, they just, talking to the men was not the wave. It was not the vibe. It was not, it was not what I was supposed to be doing. And they were all sexual. All of them were super sexual, except a couple. And it was so aggravating. Like, and I felt like I was being used, and I was being used because like they didn't care about me as a person. A whole lot of them were just asking for nudes. I wasn't sending nudes. I don't send nudes. I don't take nudes. I don't send nudes. And so they kept asking me for nudes, and like this one guy even blocked me. He ended up blocking me because I wouldn't send him nudes. Like he got upset that I wouldn't send him nudes, and I was just like, I'm not doing that with you. Like I'm really not. Um and so it was just a very degrading era, and I did that for a year. I don't know if y'all can hear all that noise in the background. Hopefully you can't. Hopefully you can't. But my cat is acting a fool in his room. Um so it was a very degrading time. Very degrading time. Very degrading time. And like I just I felt degraded. I felt like an object, and it was terrible. Like talking to these men were terrible. It was terrible. It was a terrible experience. I don't recommend it. And I was only talking to them because I was running from my feelings for Jesus, and I was angry at Jesus because he wasn't answering me. And I was still praying to God during all of this. Like I was still talking to him. And I was like, why aren't you sending me the sign that I want? Like it was just making me mad. And so uh I was just like, okay. And then after okay. There's so many okay. During this era of me talking to men, I was like I was on a lot of kink websites because I was looking for a kinky relationship. And uh I was like trying to find a slave. I was trying to find a slave. I was either trying to find a dom or a slave. And I was looking for a dom, and that was like not working out. And then I started to look for a slave, and I found a couple of people. And I want I'm going to make a separate video about what having a slave taught me about God, because that was such a wild experience. And like I was just doing the most. Like I was really just looking for God in all the wrong places. So it was just like, not saying that there's anything wrong with kink. There's nothing wrong with kink. But it was just it wasn't for me. Like this, at least the people I found were not they were not I was just not finding the right people. I wasn't in my bag. Like I wasn't finding the right people, and I wasn't talking, and I was like, clearly I was running from God. So it was like I wasn't doing the right things, and I wasn't supposed to be on those sites, and I was supposed to work through my feelings, and I wasn't. I was just talking to men, and I was talking to any and anybody who would talk to me. And um so um yeah, it's just that's what I was doing, and I'm gonna make a separate video about that. About what a slave taught me about God. Having a slave taught me about God, because it's wild, and I don't want to get into it with this video because I'm gonna make a separate video. But uh for a year I was talking to a whole bunch of men. I almost Oh my gosh. And one of the men I talked to was a scammer. And for in the ironic part, or I guess the sad part, I don't know. I literally felt the most connected to that man. But I don't know if it was cuz he was lying to me. But I was so upset about that. Like he had like we were talking for like a month, but it felt longer than that. And he had asked for my social security number, and I was like, "No." I was like, "Not you being a scammer." Like I was so I can't say I was shocked because I kind of had an inkling that he was fake, but it was just to tell you how my life was going. Like it was a mess. It was a mess. It was a mess. So, I had that going on, and after the year was up, so after this was all during 2023. So after the new year comes up, I was like, 2024, I was like, I'm not talking to these men no more. I'm not doing this no more. And so, excuse me. So 2024 hits and excuse me. Oh my gosh. 2024 hits and I'm like, I'm going to stop talking to these men cuz I don't like them. I don't want them. I don't want them. And that's the thing. Like talking to all these men made me realize that all I wanted was Jesus. And it was just making me upset because he wasn't answering me. And so I was just like, I don't know. I was just very very upset with God. But so the year was over, 2023 is over, and I'm telling myself I'm not going to talk to these men anymore. And so 2024 happens and I start hearing from God. Well, technically I was hearing from God the whole time, but like I wasn't listening to him because he was talking to me. He was talking to me, but I wasn't listening. And he was telling me not to talk to these men. And he was also telling me that he loved me, but I didn't know what that meant. Like he kept telling me that he loved me, and I was like, "What do you mean by love? Like what kind of love are you talking about?" And he just kept telling me that he loved me. So I was like, "What do you mean by that? We used to be married. Like what are you talking about?" And so um 2024 he finally like starts talking to me in a more clear way, in a clearer way. And he still hasn't sent the extravagant sign of coming into my dreams or taking me to heaven, right? But he like speaks to me through music. He speaks to me through music, through videos, through the Bible, through a lot of stuff. So he speaks to me through signs. And he speaks to me through signs and numbers and just a whole bunch of stuff. So he kept sending me this number that means I love you, but romantic love. That means I love you romantically. Then he sent me another sign, another number that means lovers, and then another number that means romantic, that means love but romantic love. So I love you, lovers, and love. And so he kept sending me those numbers, and he was sending me those the year before, but I wasn't really like paying attention to it. And then he would talk to me through music. He would send me love songs through music. And I was just like, I want oh I was like, I want more of a I want more signs. And so he had sent me a dream, and in the dream he was like focus on the good in our marriage. He was like, focus on the good in our marriage. And so I was like, wait a minute. You recognize our marriage. So that made me realize, I was like, okay, like you actually recognize our marriage. And he was like, focus on the good in our marriage. And I was like, okay. So I was like, and that's the thing, I didn't even want to like listen to that, because I was like, if I'm pissed off at you, then I'm gonna be mad. Like, you're not gonna tell me what to do. I'm like, you not gonna tell me what to do, how to think, how to feel. But I was glad that he like showed me that he recognizes that we're married and that he recognizes our marriage. And so I was like, okay. And he has sent me like a whole bunch of stuff. I can't remember everything. Of course, now that I'm talking about it, I can't remember everything. But he was like, focus on the good in our marriage. Um Hold on, because I had written it down. If I can find it. Ooh, you know what's crazy? I had a YouTube channel before this, and this ain't even, well, this is part of it. This ain't even everything. I had a YouTube channel before this, and uh I was singing a song a cappella, and they copyright the song. And I was like, I'm not even using the music. Like I was so like I was like, okay. Okay. But I hate the way you tease me. Oh, but I guess I didn't write it down. But he told me focus on the good on our marriage, and then he was like, you're crying out for something, and I'm right here. And I'm like, I'm crying out for answers, crying out for a husband. What are you talking about? And then he was like, he was like, you can trust God with your heart. He spoke to my spirit. He literally spoke to my spirit, because it literally was different than than everything else, because I know I hear voices, and this was not like that. He spoke to my spirit, which was different. Like, it was like my soul knew what he was saying, and I didn't hear it, but my soul knew what he was saying. And he said, you can trust God with your heart. So I was like, okay, 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 okay. And then it was like, because it was like a couple of months, and he kept talking to me. He was sending me dreams, and he was showing up in my dreams, but he wasn't doing the thing I asked him to do. He was showing up in my dreams. I'm like, so you could do this and you can't. But I realized he was like testing my faith, because he does everything else except the thing I asked him to do. And I was like, okay. So he was like telling me a whole bunch of different stuff, and was like, I love you. He kept telling me he loved me. He kept telling me. And then he told me, like, after a while, after a couple of months of me, like, being like, I'm not sure. Are you sure? And then he was like, I want to marry you. And he said it with authority, which he never does with me, because usually I listen. But he said it with authority. Like, he said, he had like a little bass in his voice, and I was like, not you talking to me like this. I was like, not you talking to me like this. Not you talking to me like this. So, he told me he wanted to marry me. And I was like, okay, let me think about this. Cause I was mad. I was still mad. But over time, um I got over I still feel like, cuz everybody calls me crazy, and I still feel crazy, but I got back with Jesus in on July 29th of 2024, And nobody in my family knows that I'm with him. I haven't told anybody because I know they're just going to call me delusional. They're probably going to send me back to the psych ward if they think I'm back with Jesus. But mm, it is what it is. It is what it is. But I'm back with him. Don't ever leave me. Don't ever let him tell you that you never need me. So, yeah, I got back with him. We're together now. We are married. And he has helped me, even though like he hasn't done the thing that I've asked him to do. He sent me so many dreams. I mean, I haven't talked about all the dreams that he sent me. He shows up in my dreams and like gives me hugs, and like he'll talk to me and like tell me certain things. He'll sing me songs. He sent me a song in a dream, and like he'll just do stuff for me. Like he does a lot of stuff for me, which I feel like I can't really put into words. But yeah. And I was sad. I was really sad when I was like depressed. And that's the thing, cuz a lot of people will tell me that I'm crazy and that I'm not supposed to be with Jesus, and like I'm delusional. But I literally lived my life without Jesus. I lived my life without Jesus when everyone was telling me that Jesus wasn't supposed to be with me, or like we weren't supposed to be together, and that I was crazy. I walked that truth out that they said to me, that they spoke to me, and it was not fruitful. I walked it out, and I was depressed. I was anxious. I was really sad all the time. I was suicidal. Like, I felt alone. I felt like no one understood me. I felt isolated. I felt like I didn't have my best friend. And so it was just like, it was a very trying time. And I was super depressed. Like, it was just, I walked out what people said. And even after the first year, like, of me talking to all those men, I was never happy. Finding all these other people, I was never happy. And I know that I'm happy with Jesus, that Jesus is supposed to be the person I'm supposed to be with, because I don't want anybody with Jesus. And that's what I realized after talking to so many men and speaking with so many people. I'm like, Jesus is the only person I want. He is who I want. He is who I love. He is who I love. He's the only person I want. And if that makes me crazy, then I guess I'm crazy. I guess I'm crazy. I guess I'm schizophrenic. At least I have something that I can blame it on. I do have schizophrenia. I do hear voices. But, it doesn't take away from the truth of my relationship with Jesus. So now I'm with Jesus again, and I'm happy. I'm happy. My life has turned around completely. It has completely turned around. But, my family doesn't believe in me. They think I'm crazy. Even like, because that's something that has occurred with, since I got diagnosed with schizophrenia. My family don't think I'm prophetic anymore. They don't think I'm prophetic. So I will prophesy something and it will come to pass. And I remember talking to my mother about this, and I prophesied something and it came to pass. And she was like, "Are you sure you're hearing from God?" She said, "Are you sure that was actually from God?" I'm like, "It came to pass, did it not? Did it not? Who else would it be from? The devil is a liar. We know this. So it came to pass." So I was just like, I don't know. It's just, uh, it's hard. It's very hard being, um, it's very hard dealing with this illness. Like, dealing with this illness is just like, in terms of my family, like, they don't see me. But they never have. So I guess it's not anything new. But, you know, it just sucks. But now I'm with Jesus again, and I'm way happier than I was. We've been together for 6 months. So I'm really happy. I'm way happier. And I don't know. I don't know what else to say. And that's really what I've been doing. I've been doing the schizophrenia has been a doozy on me. It's been taking me out. But I've been doing better. And yeah. Yeah. So that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing for these past 2 years. So also I have a ministry, and I've been working on my ministry. Actually, I haven't been doing that much, but I have a ministry. I have a podcast that I talk on my podcast. I've mostly been on my podcast. Um so yeah, I'll have all the links to that in the bio. Um but if you made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you for watching. If you like the video, like the video. If you like me, subscribe. I'm going to be making more videos, and yeah, I'm going to be more consistent on here because I have a new phone. So I'm going to be consistent on here. So I have an Instagram, a Twitter, a YouTube, all that jazz. Like I said, I'm going to put all of my stuff in the description. I have links that you can donate to me through my description. You can do whatever. I'm gonna put it all in the description. So I even wrote a book. I have a sermon notes journal. Put all that in the description. So yeah, thank you for watching. I know this video is kind of long, so if you made it all the way to the end, thank you. And I love you. And Jesus loves you too. So thank you.